Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Phoenix 4th General Membership Meeting. She's on top of the game, Women FinTech Leaders. Our host for today is the Vice President of FINMA Corporation and the Chairperson of the Women in Finance Committee. Let us all welcome Ms. Danielle Del Rosario.
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 4th Phoenix General Membership Meeting, She's on Top of the Game, featuring Women FinTech Leaders. This General Membership Meeting is co-presented by the Programs and Meetings Committee and, of course, by the Women in Finance Committee. We're very excited about today. Thank you all for being here. To formally open the program, may I call on our President, Mr. Wilson Tan, to call this meeting to order.
Good morning, everyone. Let me call the meeting to order.
Let us put ourselves in the presence of God. Dear Lord, we offer this gathering to you and ask you to bless it in your wisdom and grace. We thank you for this opportunity for us to be together. We ask that you enlighten our minds and pour out on us the spirit of understanding. Guide us in our discussions and help us to know what is pleasing to you. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Please be seated, everyone. Now we'd like to call on our President, Mr. Wilson Tan, for his opening remarks.
To our distinguished speakers, fellow Phoenix members, friends from media, guests, and of course, I'd like to mention our indefatigable SEC Chair, Chair Milakino. Guests, good afternoon, and welcome to this 4th General Members Meeting of our Institute. Allow me to brief you on our recent and upcoming events for Phoenix. So last month, during our GMM, we covered one of the more controversial issues in the business community, the Maharlika Investment Fund. We were privileged and honored to have had well-known business executives such as former BSP Deputy Governor Diwa Ginigundo, renowned economist and academic Dr. Bernie Villegas, and ISA Chairman and former DND USEC Popoy de Rosario speak on the MIF from various perspectives, because up to that time we have heard various perspectives from politicians and analysts, and it was enlightening to hear new perspectives from business executives. March was also a meaningful month for our lady members, as it has been designated as the Women's Month in the Philippines since 1988. This celebration takes place every year to honor the many accomplishments and qualities of women and bring attention also to the challenges they confront in various aspects of their lives. However, we at FINEX feel that celebrating the strength of women should not be limited to the month of March, as diversity and general or gender equity are vital issues that are perpetually relevant given how women have established themselves as dynamic contributors and participants in the national economy and the business community as a whole. According to the World Economic Forum's 2022 Global Gender Gap report, more women have been hired for leadership posts since 2015. The Philippines, out of all the APAC economies that were evaluated, saw the biggest increase in terms of the number of women hired for leadership jobs. On the other hand, according to the same survey, women are still not being promoted to leadership roles within a company. In the Philippines, men have a likelihood of promotion that is 26% higher than that of women. Yet, there is clear progress. Global Private Company Data Tracker Crunchbase reports in its 2022 Gender Diversity Report that women now hold 16% of the board seats among its global respondents, almost double or more than double the initial figure of 7% since it started the study in 2019. In the Philippines, LinkedIn reported that our country ranked 4th out of 36 economies globally in terms of women representation in leadership roles, and the top country among Asia-Pacific countries. This is indeed a good news, but we know that more work needs to be done in this space, and maybe more on the government aspect also, the government roles. This is why, to recognize the important contributions of women in technology, FINEX and BPM Vision hosted the first Women in Finance Technology Leadership Awards last year. Now, we have all heard of how women are continuously challenging and breaking the glass ceiling in the workplace. But we recognize that women are also breaking barriers and making their marks in various areas of technology, an area that is often seen as traditionally male-led field. We are honored to have a governance, fintech, and blockchain champion and leader to deliver today's keynote presentation, and we will also have a panel discussion featuring last year's Women in Finance Technology Leadership Awards recipients, and they will be properly introduced in a short while. We have also been busy in other fronts as we continue to strengthen our ties with various stakeholders and peers. Last March 22, FINEX co-hosted a session with NEDA Secretary Arsenio Balisacan to discuss the Philippine Development Plan 2023-2028, the Philippine Economic Outlook, and the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP. The National Affairs Committee was led by Chairperson Risa Mantaring and Liaison Director Peter Wallace, and also thank you to past President Ed Francisco for representing FINEX in that discussion. On March 23, FINEX co-signed the joint statement with the Makati Business Club, the Justice Reform Initiative, and other business professional organizations about the proposed constitutional convention. In that statement, FINEX reiterated its position that although some economic provisions in the Constitution may have to be amended in order for the country to be more competitive, now is not the right time considering that the country is still slowly recovering from the effects of the pandemic and given the economic headwinds that we are facing. There is no flip-flopping in our position at all, and that is consistent with the February letter that we issued to Congress. On March 28, our Good Governance Committee, led by Chair Cathy Ang and Liaison Director Terry Magleo, hosted a webinar on cybersecurity during a rapid digital transformation with Paul Jackson, Cross Regional Managing Director and APAC Head for Cybersecurity Investigation, as main speaker. Panelists were Mr. Henry Aguda, President and CEO of Union Digital Bank, and Mr. Leo Salvador, Knowledge Management Senior Manager at PNA Grant Thornton. The webinar was moderated by Warren Bituin, SGV's Technology Consulting and Cybersecurity Leader. That was a very well attended webinar. In order to reaffirm our collaboration and highlight our planned projects, I also attended on behalf of FINEX the general membership meeting of the Davao City Chamber of Commerce and Industry last March 31. Our very own Carlos Cervantes, I think he spent the past 4 days in Davao to further explore collaboration between FINEX and Davao Chamber. Who knows, the next winner of the ING FINEX CFO of the Year might come from Davao region. Diba, Kaloy? Okay. On March 31st, the Financial Inclusion Committee led by Chair Gay Santos and Liaison Director Ador Abrahena visited Alitagtag, Batangas to participate in an exposure tour and learning session hosted by water.org. On the same day, the FINEX Life Icon Subcommittee led by Attorney Botan held its first event of the year, Conversation with Master, featuring Dr. Jaime Silaya. We would like to thank Shell Philippines or Filipinas Corporation for sponsoring that event. Last week, April 14, it was also my privilege to represent FINEX at the SEC Automated Certification Examination System launch, or SEC ACES launch. That system is anticipated to significantly improve SEC certification exam administration. I think among the government agencies, we have SEC spearheading the digitalization effort. And thank you, Sec Chair Emil Aquino, for that. Moving forward, we also have a full roster of activities and projects in the coming months. And I highly encourage everyone to mark your calendars and support and participate in these worthwhile endeavors. First, on April 22, this is the second event organized by the Arts and Culture Committee under the leadership of Chair Lia San Juan and Liaison Director Domingo. This is about the Aming Tahanan Aguinaldo Shrine Tour. That will be April 22. May 12, there will be a forum on financial inclusion for women, water and climate resilience to be hosted by the Financial Inclusion Committee. There are only 50 slots allotted to FINEX. So please don't delay, register for that face-to-face event. Water.org will be the event's sponsor. On May 23rd, the Fellowship Subcommittee led by Chair Jen Yap, Membership Committee Overall Chair Caloy Cervantes, and Liaison Director Joey Gomez will hold its first event of the year, target shooting. So if you're into target shooting, please register for this May 23rd event. It will be at the Villamor Air Base firing range. From May 19 to 22, the International Relations Committee led by Chair Hina Saga and Liaison Director Benny Sullivan will conduct a 4-day trip to Taiwan. And part of the trip will include meeting with the FINEX counterpart, the FEI Chinese Taiwan. So please register. I think there are a few more slots available. May 24th, the Professional Development Committee led by Chair Paulo Asurin and Co-Chair Edith Estacio and Liaison Director Gemma Cheng will be presenting this year's first economic briefing with speakers from CLSA, Senior Economist Antonio Nafte, UP Assistant Professor JC Punungbayan, and Mr. Jonathan Ravelas. And in June, the ICT Committee, led by Chair Mark Goriseta, Vice Chairs Bong Paloma and Adrian Abrojena, and Liaison Director Zondi Garcia will be offering a webinar on cybersecurity and data privacy management, and this will be sponsored by RCBC and Sonic Wall. So look out for details also regarding our upcoming events like the 17th ING FINEX CFO of the Year Award. This will be launched in May, and the Ayala FINEX Finance Summit that will be held on August 10. And of course our annual FINEX Week, which will be held from October 2 to 6 of this year. And also, I would like to encourage you to also support the initiatives of FINEX Foundation and the FINEX Academy. So as you can see, we have many plans and projects lined up, which is why looking for and finding for year-long sponsors continue to be on top of our agenda. And on screen, we can see Okay, the sponsorship package. Right now, I'd like to express again our appreciation and gratitude to the following organizations for confirming their sponsorship for this year-round activities. So we have Union Bank of the Philippines, First Philippine Holdings, LT Group, Converse ICT Solutions, PNA Grant Thornton, Robinson's Land, Steel Asia Manufacturing, BDO, Unibank, DMCI Holdings, Isla Lipana, and of course, SG Vin Company. So thank you to our dear sponsor, and I hope that we can have other sponsors to support us for this year-long activity. We are also initiating a membership drive. No? We need to replenish our membership base. No? So we would welcome your help in terms of promoting our organization and inviting new members to Phoenix. Also, lest I forget, on behalf of our hardworking treasurer, where is he? Paul, okay, please stand. And also the finance committee led by Kel Lampa, please don't forget to process and remit your annual dues. No? To top-notch finance professionals like us, we know that cash is king. So please, okay na, Paul, no? I mentioned it already. Then lastly, the car grand raffle will be announced soon, and thank you to Isla Lipana for agreeing to be the auditor for this project. And of course, thank you to Mr. Eddie Yap, who was the chair in 2022, as well as Edith Dichao, the liaison director for this project in 2022. So thank you also for Cherry Auto Philippines for being the exclusive sponsor for that raffle. So thank you very much, and we look forward to engaging in insightful session this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, President Wilson. Wow, we've been really busy. So the first quarter, Phoenix has been really full of exciting activities, and we can really expect to have more. Please sign up for our members, and those of you who have friends who can benefit from being part of the most exclusive premium group of financial executives of the Philippines, please invite your friends. I think Phoenix can really be a force for good. So thank you, President Wilson. At this point, I would like to call on our chairman of the membership committee, Mr. Carlos Caloy Cervantes, for the introduction of our new members.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon. Magandang hapon po. Meron tayong 5 regular members to be inducted today and an honorary member. So let me introduce. I will call the name, state the company position and company and the sponsor. We have number 1, Alberto Alfonso Reynoso Albano. Parang first name lahat, ano? Head Investor Relations, Mint Fintech Innovations Incorporated, sponsored by Michael Arcato H. Guarin. Number 2, Raina Yvette Brito, Chief Executive Officer of Sunlight Express Airways Corporation, sponsored by Esther P. Magleo. Number 3, we have Eric Jason Castro. We'll ask you to come here, please. CFO of Go Time Bank, sponsored by James Patrick Bonus. Next would be Ernest Sisus C. Pascual III, CFO of Shinagawa LASIK and Aesthetics Center Corporation, sponsored by Blanquita C. Mercado. We also have Lloyd Santiago, partner of Diaz Murillo de Lupan and Company, CPAs, sponsored by Caloy Cervantes. And finally, we have our honorary member, Honorable Emilio B. Aquino, Chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission. So to add solemnity to the occasion, I request all members to kindly on site to stand, and those via Zoom to open their camera. And may I call on our President, Wilson Pitan, for their oath of membership. Thank you. Okay, so I'd like you to raise your right hand and follow after me. I state your name. Having been accepted as a member of the Financial Executive Institute of the Philippines, do hereby solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge to the best of my ability my duties and responsibilities in the pursuit of its goals and objectives.
That I will faithfully discharge to the best of my ability my duties and responsibilities in the pursuit of its goals and objectives.
That I will protect and uphold its constitutions and bylaws.
That I will protect and uphold its constitution and bylaws.
That I will abide by its code of ethics.
That I will abide by its code of ethics.
That I will observe the highest professional, moral, and ethical standards.
That I will observe the highest professional, moral, and ethical standards.
That I voluntarily impose this obligation upon myself without mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
I will observe
So help me God. Congratulations.
sponsor pala ako.
Congrats, Tom!
Attend kayo ng fellowship.
Congratulations!
Mag-member kayo ng committee.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
Thank you, Kaloy and President Wilson. Welcome to all our new members. Congratulations and welcome again. As mentioned by President Wilson in his opening remarks, we think that we can celebrate women more than just in 1 month. I think if you look at all your domestic corporations and enterprises, aka your homes, you'll probably observe that women, meaning your mothers and your wives, play a very active role in leadership. So today, we really want to talk about celebrating women leaders, particularly in financial technology. So at this point, I would like to call on a true advocate for women leadership and a believer in women moving things along and being on top of her game herself. I'd like to call my liaison director of the Women and Finance Committee, Ms. Esther Terry Magleo, for her short message.
Thank you, Chair Daniel, for that kind and generous introduction. You really thrill me no end. Okay, good afternoon, a pleasant and blessed afternoon to everyone, to Phoenix members, to SEC Commissioner Emil Aquino. Thank you for the warm welcome last time when we made a visit to SEC. President Wilson, other board members, Women in Finance Committee members, they are all here. Our source speaker, Ida Johnson. Ida, you're the unanimous choice of my close friends Dick, Sandy, Sharon, on the choice of a keynote speaker. DP Chair Nikki, Chair Daniel, Moderator Malu, our panelists, Dada, Kai, and Gina, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today as we celebrate an extended International Women's Month to acknowledge outstanding women fintech leaders. Happy International Women's Day. Let's give them a round of applause. Our committee provides a platform where issues affecting women and their ability to become strong contributors to the economy and society are discussed. We design, create, and implement programs towards the development and upliftment of women's lives, be it personal or professional. We have shared common goals of improving the lives of women in any strata of the society. women empowerment in the workplace, community, and society in general. For the past 3 years, we have adopted an entrepreneurship program for the poorest of the poor women entrepreneurs in Metro Manila. The first one is in Tondo, Manila, under Father Fabio Villanueva, SBD, where the recipients are widows of EJK victims. Another one is Christian High Commonwealth in Quezon City Avenue, under Father Luciano Peloni. We have provided them business strikes so that they can sell their goods, vegetables, rice, and other stuff in their vicinity, financial assistance, and financial literacy sessions. The Christian High model under Father Peloni, paying it forward and inclusive growth, is very sustainable. Why? Because funds are generated from repayment of previous beneficiaries. So, it allows more beneficiaries to benefit from this program. Recently, as you can see at the screen, we awarded to 10 more beneficiaries in Christian High through mapping out and continuous shortlisting of business-minded women entrepreneurs in Commonwealth. On a very significant note, our partnership with BPM Vision for the launch of Women in Finance Technology Leadership Awards for 2022 is first in Phoenix history, thanks to past President Mike Guarin, past President Bobby Baramia, President Wilson, Daniel De Rosario, Malu Cristobal, and the PPM Vision organizing team. The objective is to give recognition to women who have demonstrated exceptional leadership through successful delivery of technology-led change with proven outstanding management skills as well as growth impact and innovation in their organization. What is so meaningful about this award is that the awardees who are all here get to donate their winnings to their favorite advocacy and charity program. Of course, the top winners are here with us: Maria Lopeda del Carmen, President and CEO of Nova Technologies; Gina Florgina Oris, Chief Finance Officer of Makati Development Corporation; and Maricar Kai Castillo, President and CEO of Asticom Technology, the third winner. I'm very, very proud to say, and I express my unspeakable joy that they are all from Women in Finance Committee under Phoenix, as there were 2 other women from other organizations. Please give them a round of applause. Dada, my favorite friend, chose a program called Gabay Aral. You know, we have a learning poverty of 90%, wherein 5 to 10-year-old children cannot even read or write, and that is per World Bank study. So this Gabay Aral is a program initiated by National Shrine of the Sacred Heart, Makati YMCA, and Barangay San Antonio here in Makati. So they get to have volunteers from the Sacred Heart, and they get to teach them every Saturday and Sunday. And we had already graduated something like 40 children last month. Ayala Foundation is the favorite choice of Gina. This is the social development arm of Ayala Group of Companies. Of the various programs of Ayala, Gina chose You Go Scholar Grant, which aims to help young women from economically disadvantaged background to pursue higher education. And Kai, of course, donated her winnings to Hapag Movement, a program that provides holistic intervention on hunger alleviation and livelihood opportunities to benefit vulnerable families. And not to be outdone in generosity, our keynote speaker, Ida, has been advocating financial technology all these years for three reasons. Firstly, it promotes financial inclusion, making financial services available to those who have been excluded from traditional banking systems and unbanked. Second, it enables greater efficiency and transparency in financial transactions, which is particularly important in addressing or a fight against corruption, especially in government. Finally, this fintech supports economic growth by providing access to financing and enabling online commerce, creating new business opportunities and supporting growth of existing businesses. In our company, when we had COVID, our customers come to us. Unlike before, it's 6 months of chasing. This time, it's the merchants coming to us to get our platform. Truly, these women are role models. They are women of substance and women for others. And to quote former U.S. First Lady Michelle Obama, there is no limit as to what we as women can accomplish. I would like to thank the organizers of this forum, President Wilson Tan, Chair Dino, Vice Chairs Nikki Tang and Kai Casido Reyes, Moderator par excellence Malu Cristobal, the most sought after moderator in Phoenix. Special thanks to Tony Boy and Net of Programs and Meetings, Phoenix Secretariat Mike, Arjun, Marga, and of course to our keynote speaker Ida Johnson for making it today. So what are we waiting for? Let's hear from the women Phoenix tech leaders who are all on top of their game. God bless Phoenix, God bless our country, God bless all of us. Mabuhay.
Thank you, Terry. You can certainly feel the passion and love in Terry's voice every time she talks about women empowerment, especially when it's the gift that keeps on giving. So I'm very excited to introduce you to our three panelists that won. So as mentioned by the President in his opening remarks and also by Terry, last year we had our very first Women in Finance Technology Leadership Awards. This is really to celebrate women in technology and financial leadership. So today we have our top three finalists. We have Dada, we have Kai, and we also have Gina. And we loved the experience last year, and so we wanted to share it with a bigger audience, and that's why we thought there's no better theme for our GMM than today's. So I'll be introducing each of our panelists, and then we will also be showing you a short video clip with the highlights of the Women in Finance Technology Leadership Awards, so you have a better picture, and then we'll be calling each of you to give your messages. So first is Ms. Lofreda Dada del Carmen. She is a very successful technopreneur. She is the Chief Software Architect of NOAA Business Applications, President and CEO of Forecasting and Planning Technologies, and the Chairman of NOAA Sys Corporation. Her exemplary leadership for 20 years has led to the development of NOAA business applications that digitally supplements, complements, replaces, or becomes legacy systems of top conglomerates and private entities in the country, spanning from real estate, manufacturing, sales and distribution, banking, holding, and other industries. At the age of 30, she was given recognition as an outstanding CPA in Entrepreneurship and Young Achiever Award in Commerce and Industry by the Philippine Institute of Certified Public Accountants. She is currently the Vice Chairman for Recruitment Committee of the Management Association of the Philippines. And we're very, very excited to have you here today, Dada. Thank you. Our second panelist is also our Vice Chairperson for the Women in Finance Committee, Ms. Maricar Kai Castillo Reyes. Kai is a seasoned leader whose expertise in HR and shared services spheres brought growth and success to many companies. On top of having a degree in psychology from the Philippine Normal University, Kai is also a chartered business administrator and has earned several HR certifications in compensation benefits, labor relations, and talent acquisitions. She also completed the Ayala Group Leaders Program under the Harvard Business School, Digital Business Strategies under Columbia Business School, and recently Executive Development Program under Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University. Kai began her career in HR consulting and headhunting. 10 years later, she rose to become the Chief Operating Officer. Equipped with a wealth of experience in HR, she then moved on to head the talent acquisition group of Globe Telecom, a leading telecom company in the Philippines that we're all familiar with. Later on, she became the director of HR shared services of the said company, serving for almost 5 years, and in 2015, she took over Asticom Technology Inc. as a general manager, and 3 years later became president and CEO of Asticom Group of Companies up to the present, and I'd like to say she handles more than 5,000 people under her. Very nice to have you today, Kai. And just as exciting, I'd like to tell you about a third panelist, Ms. Gina Flor, or Gina Ores. Gina is currently the Managing Director of Ayala Corporation, seconded to AC Industrial Technology Holdings, or AC Industrials. Prior to joining AC Industrials in April 22, she was the Vice President of Ayala Land Inc. and the Chief Finance Officer of MDC, or Makati Development Corporation, position she held for almost 8 years. During her assignment in MDC, she spearheaded its enterprise-wide digital transformation, a very pioneering effort in the construction industry in the Philippines. Gina has been with Ayala Group for 28 years, performing various roles in strategic financial management, execution of mergers, acquisitions, and divestment transactions, risk management, and portfolio management. She graduated with honorable mention from the Ateneo de Manila University with a BS Mathematics major and Computer Science degree. She completed the Master in Business Management program at the AIM, or Asian Institute of Management, as an Asian Development Bank Scholar. Welcome, Gina, and we're so happy to be here, for you to be here today. Okay, so right now we're going to show a very quick video. It's about 3 minutes on the Women in Finance Technology Leadership Awards, and then we're going to call our first speaker, Dada, to be followed by Kai and Gina. Thank you all.
A blessed Wednesday, fellow Phoenix members and guests. Thank you very much, Ms. Esther Magleo, Ms. Daniel De Rosario, and Ms. Malu Cristobal. Of course, President Wilson, PD, and Annette, the entire meetings and programs committee for organizing this GMA dedicated for us. I humbly stand in front of you to share with you God's amazing story. He is uniquely writing for my journey in finance technology. During the 2022 Women in Finance Technology Leadership Award panel interview, I discussed my leadership philosophy, which will become my epitaph. You are all witnesses here. So that will be my epitaph. Leadership is the power to influence obedience to God. All these years, obedience illumines my path. I obeyed my mother to take up accountancy for livelihood and psychology for marriage. Truly, there is power in God's word. By honoring my mother through obedience, God's grace abounds and overflows. As early as 1993, I got mentored in an IT firm where I learned the concept of computer machines, network operating systems, infrastructures, and wide array of software. I aced selling Platinum Financial Software from Newport, USA, which is an online transactional processing, or OLTP. I got married to Mike, whom God perfectly sent into my life. After Y2K phenomenon, Mike and I started Forecasting Planning Technologies Inc. for marketing of Power OLAP, an online analytical processing tool, OLAP or OLAP technology. We got our huge breakthrough by obeying to deliver a general ledger system in one of the leading commercial banks in the nation that deployed the said application nationwide and requested us, and required, more than requested, to come up or put up a brand name. Hence, the story of Noah Business Applications unfolded, biblically inspired to the story of Noah as written in the book of Genesis. In the Bible, Noah means comfort. Noah Business Applications aims to bring comfort to its users, covering different applications or different galleries. Like Noah's story on building the ark with exacting specifications in terms of measurements and positions, Noah Business Applications has been built based on business rules, which include processes, calculations, template designs, scenario simulations, and data flow. Noah conducted 4 levels of testing before letting the creatures out of the ark after the great flood. He was a raven and thrice a dove. Similarly, Noah Business Applications have 4 levels of testing, from developers testing to user acceptance testing. We comprehend the peace that goes with obedience. We adhere to the client's requirements, and we highly encourage compliance to regulatory bodies. Today, billions are being transacted by 1,000 plus private entities and top conglomerates using the different galleries of Noah Business Applications. The men and women of Now Business Applications are energized to be part of the housing development Philippine ecosystem by providing digital solutions, transformations, not only to top property developers, but also to more than 40 SMEs in real estate business. This led to the fulfillment of the divine purpose to why Now Business Applications was built. Winning the Women in Finance Technology Leadership Award is timely to create more business applications and institutionalize the development of communities' skill sets in business applications, targeting to increase the nation's income streams. My journey in finance technology is completely God's grace. With the might and power of God, He put all things together for good for Now Business Applications during the pandemic and towards the transition to new working culture. A story of that can be said on a separate instance in the interest of time. Being part of PHINEX, especially of Women in Finance and JPHINEX committees, is another grace. To God be the glory. Thank you very much.
A pleasant afternoon, everyone. To PHINEX and the Women in Finance Committee, thank you for inviting me to be part of this event. It is an honor to join our inspiring women leaders who are here today. Being on top of my game means leading people with purpose. Leadership for me is not defined by your title in the organization or your stature, but the amount of influence, empowerment, and inspiration you have with people. I started from the ranks and given several leadership roles throughout my career. The most exciting ones, of course, are the ones from Globe and the Ayala Group. With Globe, I started as the head of HR, talent acquisition, then employee services, and eventually was given a great opportunity by Ernest Koo, our Globe Group CEO, and Ato Yao to set up a company called Asticom. Asticom was re-established in 2015 under the Globe Group as a shared services and outsourcing company, with the purpose of providing opportunities for Filipino talents and to help accelerate the growth of our partner companies, clients, and their customers through the use of technology. In just 8 years, Asticom has grown rapidly. We became the Asticom Group of companies. From having 5 employees in 2015, now we are over 5,000 heads strong with 4 thriving subsidiaries, including ABSI, HEX, FinCI, and Aquiro. We were recognized by local and international award-giving bodies, 10 awards garnered alone in 2022 in the areas of digital transformation, human resources, business growth, and leadership. We are certified as a great place to work and recognized by Inquirer and Statista as best employers for 2023. The last recognition, of course, for 2022 we received was from the Women in Finance Tech Leadership. Thank you to PHINEX and Women in Finance Committee, being part of the top 3 winners in partnership with PHINEX through the Women in Finance, BPM Vision, and Microfocus. Our beneficiary for the cash prize received is the Hapag Movement Program, with the intention to provide a holistic intervention focusing on hunger alleviation and livelihood opportunities to benefit vulnerable Filipino families. We continue to nurture our growth and our people through the digital transformations we have implemented over the past few years. Our impactful innovations and technology landscape allowed us to deliver 100+ tech innovations for our customers, the launch of our own shared services center with the close to 135 tickets year to date of our own subsidiaries alone, the implementation of our very own human capital management system, DigiOffice, for better employee experience, the use of chatbots who monitor the health and status of our employees during and after the pandemic, and the implementation of ASTI Space, powered by LinkedIn Learning, our company-wide learning platform that accelerated online learning for almost 3,000 users. All these innovations have enabled us to create more than 3,000 jobs in 2021 alone, even during the pandemic, and achieved our 3rd billion revenue mark in 2022 with just 8 years of operations. In the next 5 years, we aim to create 15,000 job opportunities for our fellow Filipinos and journey to over 50 billion peso valuation. Just like Globe, which is a telco, we are now part of the Globe Group's ever-growing portfolio of tech companies solving problems and transforming the country to a digital nation. So today, my journey continues as a woman fintech leader. Being leader is tough, but being a good leader is even tougher in the tech world. I've always believed that leading people means inspiring and encouraging them to live their purpose. Leaders should always have that mindset that there should never be any barriers to achieve any of your goals. To all the leaders who are here today, don't be afraid to embrace your natural leadership style, as this will bring out the best in you and the people you work for. Always remember that values will help you lead with confidence, empathy, and care. But also, for our women today, we have the power to make the difference and contribute to the growth and success of our company, our community, and the country. I encourage our women leaders to signal boost other women, boost her self-esteem, and allow them to take bigger responsibilities in the workplace. Guide them, cheer them. That deliberate act of rooting for them will make a very strong difference on how they will perform as the next generation women leaders. So let's continue to support and uplift one another, create positive change, and continue to improve people's lives. Thank you, everyone, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity to share with you in 5 minutes the story of the first 5 years of Makati Development Corporation's digital transformation journey. I was very fortunate to have been given the responsibility to start and lead that digital transformation. While I am now assigned to another Ayala subsidiary, I am and will always be grateful to the entire MDC organization and Ayala Land for the trust and support they gave me and for the learnings I gained along the way. MDC is the largest engineering, procurement, construction, and construction management company in the Philippines. A wholly owned subsidiary of Ayala Land, its vision is to be a world-class builder of choice, providing various services to its partners. It is committed to construction excellence in safety, quality products, people and processes, timely delivery, cost efficiency, and sustainability. Next slide. The MDC digital transformation journey began in 2017 when we had over 200 projects concurrently under construction and a few hundred more either in pre-construction or post-construction. Our parent company at that time decided to transition the current ERP system to SAP S/4HANA by 2018. We took that as an opportunity not merely to transition to a new SAP version, but to look at our existing pain points and analyze if we can use digitalization as an enabler to address most of those pain points. We already had some digital platforms and were using various softwares, but we still faced difficulties in gathering data directly from the field and in generating reports real-time or close to real-time for management to have better insights for agile decision-making. As our business lines and operations continued to grow, we needed to streamline processes and ensure integration across various platforms. In short, we had to come up with a more comprehensive and long-term strategic plan. Next slide. We developed a 3-year roadmap 2017 to 2020, where we laid out our aspirations. The major components of our roadmap included some basic but critical initiatives, such as improving our network infrastructure and connectivity, moving our data to the cloud, providing tools such as tablets and smartphones to the personnel who need them in their day-to-day activities, streamlining processes and going paperless, using robotic process automation, enhancing collaboration within project teams, using specialized softwares and platforms, and increasing the use of digital media for human resource management functions. The digital transformation project was called Project Optimus. Next slide, please. MDC's digital transformation journey is not only about making processes better and faster. It is also a journey in harnessing the power of digital data and building a data-driven culture. With most of the data in repositories in the cloud, we're able to process data better anytime, anywhere. That has helped us manage the changing work arrangements since the pandemic started, and especially when lockdowns were enforced. We're now able to analyze more comprehensively and surface more meaningful insights faster. The digital transformation has evolved the way the organization looks at data, from hindsight to insight to oversight and hopefully foresight. While we encounter various challenges, we can attribute our success to various factors. Next slide, please. Our top management provided the strategic direction and were hands-on every step of the way. Digital transformation was not an IT project. We collaborated with our software partners. We took change management and communication campaigns seriously. Testing, training, feedback generation, and continuous improvement are all important in all of our implementations. Our transformation initiatives were initially handled by a task force. As we were able to go live with various projects and as we continued to pursue new initiatives, we decided to form a dedicated unit to oversee and coordinate all these initiatives. We also formed a digital roundtable composed of digital champions from the different functional groups who meet regularly. Lastly, each and every member of the MDC organization had a role to play. Digital transformation is a component of our corporate KRAs and our individual KRAs. Next slide. We have been sharing the story of our journey so that other players in the construction industry, locally and internationally, may be inspired by our success and may benefit from the lessons we have learned. However, we always give the caveat that each transformation journey is unique, and digitalization is not the only solution to address pain points. MDC's digitalization efforts were recognized at the 2021 and 2022 International Business Awards. MDC won Bronze Stevie Awards for each of those years. For the role that I played in MDC's digital transformation as one of the recipients of the WIFT Leadership Award last year, I'm sincerely grateful and humbled. And thank you so much for the Women in Finance Committee, BPM, and the other organizers of that awards. So thank you very much, and I hope I was able to deliver my message in 5 minutes. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you so much, Gina, Kai, and Dada. We are truly inspired by your brands of leadership. We saw diligence, attention to detail, discipline. Kai talked about empathy, care, and confidence, and of course, Dada's obedience. You are truly shining examples of women on top, and you have really inspired us and definitely set the bar very high for the women in finance technology leaders. Congratulations again. And now, as the main part of our program, I'm very excited to introduce to you our keynote speaker for today, Ms. Edith Yongson. She is a governance, fintech, and blockchain advocate. She is known as a turnaround expert. She is the CEO, president of a multi-billion ING-formed company, Opal Portfolio Investments. and managing distressed portfolios. She started as a traditional banker, spanning over 22 years in senior management positions in the National Australia Bank and Philippine National Bank before heading Opal SPV. She is a professional director who sits on several boards as independent director. Namely, she's the chairperson of the board of Pool Life UK, Surpass Inc., Alipay Philippines, and Seed-In Technologies Inc. Further, she is part of the Philippines Central Bank's BSP Open Finance Oversight Committee Transition Group representing the fintech industry. Apart from the Institute of Corporate Directors Philippines, she is also on the board of trustees of several associations, including Women Biz PH, two of the Philippines' largest fintech associations, and Blockchain Council of the Philippines. Now, let me welcome on stage Ms. Ida Tiongson for her presentation.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Okay, got several props here. President Wilson Tan, Phoenix Board, Mr. Carlos Cervantes, Membership Chair, Ms. Daniel, WIF Chair, Ms. Terry, good friend Nikki, Malu, and of course the wonderful awardees, Kai, Gina, Dada. It's definitely a great honor to be here. I feel at home because these are women in finance and technology. I actually happen to be a banker turned tech. FinTech, did study all those blockchains and artificial intelligence and so on. So I'll go straight because we're just to be efficient on time. Allow me to talk fast when necessary, and I'll just move slow on the other topics. Okay. Testing. Is this loud enough? Okay, great. All right. The topic given to me is steering Philippine economy with the use of financial technology, i.e. disruptive technology. So I just want to show you first what actually happened in China. Could you just press that one? Yeah, there. China, let me move here, if I may. China started with 832 counties in 2012, and the last of it was Guizhou. Guizhou had about 9 million population, and guess what? Fast forward to 2018 to 2020, all 832 got out of poverty. And that's Guizhou for you, and I will fast forward this. I just want to make a mention. You may be wondering how. How did China do that, and particularly Guizhou, in such a short period of time, i.e. 6 years? There were three. One is the infrastructure, i.e. physical infrastructure, the bridges and so on. The other one is a digital infrastructure, i.e. the Wi-Fi technology and whatever. And of course, e-commerce with the help of the Alibaba group. Alipay, incidentally, I also sit in Alipay board, one of the mother companies, of course, GCash. We're in the same family as Kai, yes. And okay, so with that, what is that comparative to the Philippines when we're talking about steering the economy? There are 5 major problems. I want to go poverty, unemployment, usual, and one of them is actually corruption. So just to being efficient on time, it's a little bit unfortunate that the last statistics on corruption, we went down again 1 point. And I'm not going to go through this in detail because I want to concentrate more on the other information. For the poverty, if you actually notice, the government is doing financial inclusion. I'm going to fast forward that again because I want to touch on more on the individual improving their lives. On the corruption side, where digital transformation, or should I say financial technology, is really more on the transparency. Again, I'm not going to go through that because practically 1 hour for each and every topic. But let me, Philippines' dependency on remittances, we can improve our FDIs. Unfortunately, SEC chair has already left. Sabi ko, okay, paparinggan ko siya. Because we have to really seriously look at also the digital asset offering. Hopefully in the next round, perhaps FinTech can, Phoenix can look into discussing the digital asset offering. Inadequate education, you may not be aware, the Union Bank and the other FinTech platforms have an automatic 1 to 5 minute digital learning platform free. Okay, so back to the actual topic in steering the economy, as we steer the economy, there's the consumer, i.e. us, the Filipino public, there's the businesses, and there's, of course, if you move those wheels, it's going to have a positive impact, to the Philippine economy. And with that, this is a down-to-earth example which I normally use when I teach at the DTI. A tale of two women. One I'm going to call Karen, and the other one I'm going to call Marites. And this is, by the way, true story. Karen decided to open an account, and this is way back in 2018. And Karen, within 6 months of opening a particular account, she was able to get a credit card binigay nung financial institution. And she was able to use that wisely. By the way, credit card, of course, as we know, I'm talking to the choir here, not so good because of the high interest, but because she was able to keep a good record, she was able to pay that and eventually get a loan, 400,000, and that's a 5-year loan. She was able to practically she actually paid that early, and at the end of the day, she's able to establish a business. What happened to Karen? She was able to get a record, good credit record. She was able to get access to financial products and services, start a business, Bigasan, in the province, invest, borrow, scale up, and avail competitive rates. Karen and Marites, they're not the real names, they happen to be my yayas. So one is now a business person, the other one is recently nag-open na siya ng account. So where are we when it comes to financial technology, and where is that? Things are changing. Those ones in the banking here will look at a 5 cents of credit, but when it comes to the financial technology platforms, we're looking at more behavioral, if you can pay within 6 months. If you notice, when it comes to GCash, if you don't know yet, within 6 months of using it, you can get a loan within a couple of minutes. And majority of the financial platforms are doing that. It's more behavioral. And with that, it's very important to keep credit score. And this is where financial technology is actually helping out in the financial inclusion part. And just to give what is financial technology, is actually using to describe tech that seeks to improve and automate financial services. I'm going to go through that fairly quickly. There are, at the moment, as of our report of June 2022, 216 fintechs. And out of the 216, we're looking at around about this year, 260, which is in line with the government's target to also improve financial technology. Out of that, 27% happens to be in lending. So a lot of people would think fintech is at crypto. No, crypto is actually a small part of it. It's 12%. The top three are lending, payments, and crowdfunding payments and e-wallets. Those are the top three. I also sit in one of the boards of the crowdfunding, which is SIDIN Technologies Inc. That could actually help you out. That's a shameless plug. So there's the portfolio as far as the fintech's concerned. I'm going to fast forward again. You may be wondering, okay, well, where can fintech help you with the use of the financial technology? You can actually access a lot of products and services at your fingertips. You can, in fact, we already signed up with the UBX. In one platform, you can access a lot of the fintechs, so you can actually compare the interest rates as well. So, see, 70% of the problem of the small, medium, and large enterprises actually is financing. And 99% of those that are actually suffering, the 70%, the access to finance. And this is where financial technology can help, and that's where financial inclusion is there for you, and therefore moving the economy. You may be wondering, okay, well, what's happening in Southeast Asia? In ASEAN, as of we have not gathered the information for this year. We're going to do that in June, but as of last year, a 2021 figure, there are already 35 unicorns in ASEAN. And where is Philippines? But let's first have a look at where they are. 19 of the 35 only happened in 2021. So you have all these direct investments looking into ASEAN, and bulk of them happened only in 2021. If you look at Philippines, there's only one Mint, i.e. GCash. And this is as of 2022. 2021 figure, but in 2022 we now have 3, PayMaya, Maya, and GCash. So happy to say that as far as the financial technology industry is concerned, where are the unicorns? 26% happens to be in financial technology, while the rest are in different industries, and mind you, 95% are technology related. Even the education, it's actually edutech, and so on. So I won't go through that further. You may be wondering, are we heading the right direction as far as, sorry, let me just go back to that again. As far as the Philippine Development Plan is concerned, 2023 to 2028, in a 5-year span, this has been launched last year, but it's for 2023. I extracted a few and summarized where financial technology is actually being looked into. It's being looked into heavily. In fact, the 6-point agenda, again, I'm not going to go through this, but the 6th transformation agenda, financial technology is a partner. Moving on, if you look at the strategies that the government's even looking into, promote literacy, adopting the sandbox, and so on and so forth. Again, I'm not going to go through that further. You will have a copy of these slides. Better yet, the 500-page Philippine Development Plan is actually quite interesting to read. The financial sector's health, the cross-cutting strategies, all of them has the financial technology as a partner. In fact, even Bangko Sentral has looked at the wallet very seriously to improve the financial inclusion, target of which is 70% of the population, adult population, having an account, not necessarily a bank account. And the biggest contributor to the financial inclusion happens to be GCash. So there's a few other components that the government has already been doing. We have the EO 170 on the adoption of digital payments in government. This is the BSP Digital Transformation Roadmap. There's a DICT e-Government Master Plan. I suggest you read that. That's actually very interesting. The Philippine ID System and DBM, the ICT Governance Act. I think I'm running out of time. But you may be wondering, so a couple of days ago, happy to say that with the collaboration of financial technology companies, the PhilSys, or the National ID, has already started to draft a MOA and collaborate with government agencies such as PhilHealth, SSS, GSIS, and BIR. Okay, so I wish I had actually longer time. I could explain about the things that are happening quite rapidly and strongly happening now. It's now, not future. Blockchain technology is already mainstream. There's a lot of use cases on that. There's metaverse in Makati. Tourism is looking into that. They're launching that already. Open Finance, I'm part of the Bangko Sentral Open Finance Transition Group. We're going through that already. And by the way, shameless plug on metaverse, we have the best metaverse in the Philippines, a company which is of course Surpass, and Mar is actually over there, our president. And of course, artificial intelligence, all of these are part and parcel of financial technology, which is actually helping the finance. So on the Open Finance, let me just pause on that one because a lot of information are non-disclosure, but rest assured that we will be informing the public. I sit with Attorney Mark Goroseta, one of your FINEX members in the Open Finance, and hope to brief that in more detail in the future. So AI, I'm not going to go through that. January, when I started talking about ChatGPT, a lot of people are not aware, but now practically every second person. There are a lot of AIs, generative, pre-trained transformer. In fact, we just had a session yesterday, a fantastic session with ICB and MAP on that one. And by the way, there are already AI detectors that you can, in school, you can use ChatGPT in your research and they detect it. But if you actually use Quill, transfer that to Quill, they will not able to detect. Not that I'm actually telling you this for you to circumvent, but I'm just telling you that we need to look into the ethics in AI. Right, so my final slide. Digital tools are good, but what's more important is the hand that drives it. In the digital space, we need to be conscious of security. And by the way, make sure that companies that you're going to deal with are SEC registered. And of course, we need to look into cybersecurity. I'm happy you're going to take that as your next topic. We've got to be conscious of security and of course, governance and technology. And this is by my very good friend, Bon Moya, happens to have passed away because of COVID. And this is his slide, and I love this slide because what's important are you, Phoenix members, because you're the ones actually driving the tool. So with that, thank you, and salamat Phoenix. It's time for Philippines to evolve. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ida. That was wonderful. Let's give her another round of applause. So it's very reassuring to know that we have experts. We have experts talking to our experts about finance and technology and how we can really use this power for the good of many. Technology is an accelerator, but again, it's the brains and the values behind these tools that make all the difference. And so, right now, I'd like to call back Ida and our speakers to join us in our panel, and of course, our well-established and well-known moderator that we love, Miss Malu Cristobal. Please join us on stage, ladies.
You were cut out for this.
Go ahead. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, fellow Phoenix members. Good afternoon, women. Is it working? Okay, women leaders in technology. It's really a pleasure being in a conversation with you this afternoon. There's not much time, so we'll try and make it snappy. There are two layers actually to this topic. The first is the role of technology in economic and business growth and development. And the second, of course, is women in leadership position. And we'll try to cover both within this short period of time. And let me ask Ida the first question. You presented very interesting finance technologies that hopefully will ultimately result in solving the problems of the country, particularly on poverty. But let me hone in on the digital divide, which is the gap between those that have easy access to devices and internet connection and those who don't. And I want to get your feel on the ground. How wide is the digital divide in the country, and how can this be addressed? Because really making the fintech available is going to be largely handicapped if that digital divide stays wide.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Malu. Practically every part of the government, including the individual LGUs, they all have the digital roadmap. In fact, we're going to be looking at quite aggressive change in the next couple of years with lots of collaboration, not just financial technology companies, but technology companies in general. So yes, there is a huge digital divide because we're talking about the adult population running at about 56%, i.e. close to only half having an access to finance. With the twin move, the left side pushing for, see, the problem on not being able to get a wallet like GCash, PayMaya, and so on is actually the Wi-Fi. So there's the digital infrastructure that has to be fixed, and that is under the PSIA, that's priority. And one of them is the typical 30 signatures to have a tower is cut down, I think, it's going to be cut down to 5 or thereabouts. So the ARTA together with the PSIA, they're already moving into that. That's already signed by
What sort of timeline are you looking at? When will be comfortable?
PSIA would be the better position. Henry Aguda said we would be in the better position to answer that. It's ASAP, put it that way, because you cannot have we cannot have digital transformation without Wi-Fi. Yeah. So the other part of it is the access. I said twin. The other one is the open finance. So you can imagine where our farmer, that farmer, can now have access to all of this information and would have choice. And not just choice, but would be able to learn from all these technologies at their fingertips. And that is already being looked at. We are in the midst of doing a pilot in the BSP Open Finance, first with the banking, and next round would be the insurance, the investments, the other lending companies, and next round, hopefully, will include other government agencies and also perhaps the health as well.
Okay, thank you. Things are moving. Okay, let's hope that they move faster than the speed that we're seeing now. Okay, sometime last month, I think, Elon Musk and the group of experts actually called for a pause in advanced AI development, citing potential risks to society. And I want to ask you, Kai, where is the fear coming from? Should there actually be a call for a pause? Or should AI development actually be allowed to go and flourish and not rein in?
For me, I think I just attended actually Ida's session yesterday about ChatGPT. I think we should continue it. I think what's important, and what Ida was saying earlier, is the governance around AI. We should never stop technology. We should continue and proceed with it. But there has to be some governance and continuous looking at how we're going to execute and implement that.
How do you get that governance to actually take root so that AI moves in the speed that technology will allow, but at the same time make sure that the unintended consequences do not happen?
I guess technology, behind the scenes of technology would always still be people. Right? We can't always give everything to technology. It is. It is an enabler, and it will never take over a human. So I think that human factor is still very important, and we need to be able to make sure that that governance and support will always be there. So it all goes back to education, I believe, of using AI, but because it's being used right now in all industries.
I mentioned unintended consequences, and I want to ask Gina. Gina, you're in manufacturing and distribution, and before this, you were in construction. And obviously, you've seen the rapid change in technology as it has been applied to your area of operation. What have been the unintended consequences of technology, and how have you addressed them?
One unintended consequence is that people sometimes think that technology will solve all problems, and they get so excited about new developments, new apps, like digital transformation was like a buzzword a few years ago, and you have to be like a digital fashionista. This is the latest app. You have to upgrade. But then we always tell people that at the end of the day, it's the organization that's transforming. It's not the technology that's driving the resolution of problems. So sometimes people believe that, just buy this application, hire a consultant, and then digitize the process, and the problems will go.
How did you make sure that this didn't happen?
There should be a discussion and a root cause analysis of what's really the problem. What are the causes, and what are the possible solutions? And there has to be ownership also of the process of discussion and the putting together of various options to address the problem. I don't think that just buying off the shelf DIY and doing shortcuts will really sustain the resolution of problems, especially long-term deep-seated problems in the organization. So while tech is sexy, sounds sophisticated, etc., I think some basic issues need to be looked at. Like your question earlier to Kai, aside from education, I think values are important, both personal, corporate, or social values. If you don't have those, then technology can be used in a negative way.
It's still about people. It's always the underpinning of any transformation is people. And I want to ask Dada, you've been in this business, or you founded it 20 years ago when you were about 20 years old. Yes, and the size is small, sometimes extra small. And now it's large to extra large. and over that period of time, technology has changed. And I was wondering how this rapid change in technology has changed the way you're doing your business or you've been doing your business. And as a follow-up to that, how has the profile of the jobs in your company and the people that you were hiring changed over that period of time?
All right. I think beyond what Ida, Kai, and Gina talk about, let me say about all, faith. Because the gift, technology is a gift, but it depends on the faith that is around the technology. Because if the heart is not to serve and to love, then the technology can benefit only a certain group. And it will not solve our two biggest problems, which is the problem of inequality, which is why there's a technology gap, because there is a confined environment wherein we don't have problems on Wi-Fi, perhaps in this hotel. But how many of us can be in this hotel? And where are the other creatures or children of God? So I think above all is a true transformation of heart when it comes to whom do we want to serve. Because people are given with wisdom and intellect, superior intellect, that they can pray, because we are by nature creator, co-creator of God. But if we do not serve Him, if we do not serve God, then it will only serve a certain objective and a certain group of people. So I think that's what evolved over the years that I lead Forecasting and Planning Technologies Inc., especially the creations of NOAA business applications. Of course, we service most conglomerates, most private entities. And that beyond that, of course, the security, addressing the business requirements, seeing to it that we are compliant with regulatory bodies, we have to put efficiency on certain process. But of course, that is serving the company, because the company is the one we are contracted to. But as an organization, fintech and everything, we have to take a look at the faith. Because if the faith is there, no one is needed to put governance.
Malu, am I allowed to chime in on that one? Because I actually like the topic on the faith and the trust, no? Again, it's kind of like a tale of two companies, and I'm going to give you an example. If it's a Ayala company handling Maharlika versus the government handling Maharlika, what's the major thing? What's the major difference? Isn't it the trust factor? You trust one, and why is that one trusted? That's because they're proper governance. And I'm sure when you did the Maharlika, you're looking at governance. So at the end of it, governance is actually, they say it's a religion in business, because all the other factors when it comes to the governance, the ethics, the integrity, all of that are actually biblical in nature. So I actually echo what you just said.
All the problems in this world you can find in the Bible. And all the solutions in this world you can find in the Bible, as they always like to say.
But requires the change and transformation of the heart.
Yes, very nicely put. Thank you. I was asked to remind everybody to please send your questions through via Viber at these numbers. But I think we will not prevent you from just coming up and raising your questions. Just please raise your hand, and I will call on you. I noticed that Paul was asking me to put the microphone closer to my mouth. Thank you, Paul, for reminding me. Let's talk a little bit about risk and tie it up with technology. Of course, we all know that, I guess, risk comes in two forms. the risks that you know and the risks that you do not know. And I guess the second one is really the most difficult risk to have to prepare for, not knowing what is out there that might derail your plans and whatever direction you will want to take. And I want to ask all of you very briefly, how do you use technology to manage unknown risks in your business? Start with you, Ida, and then Paganyan.
All right, so technology is actually giving you that edge. So it provides, especially if the data is already provided. So if you have all this data because of technology having that input in, and by the way, that's why we're pushing for the Philippine ID system to be faster. But so having all that data, you can quickly make a decision on the spot. With the use of the AI, and should I say responsible use of the AI, you will be given information that you can churn out quickly and you can decide on it quickly. In fact, the name of the game is survival. It will be very difficult to survive without the help of technology. So I'll just brief on that one.
Well, in our case, because we have a very robust enterprise-wide risk management practice in the Ayala Group. So we're very quantitative metrics, KRI driven, and we set thresholds and we monitor them. But at the same time, for risks that have yet to be identified, we have to make sure that the people are monitoring latent risks or risks that are emerging, and try to call the attention of risk owners that, hey, this seems like a risk that is growing, and we have to put it in our list, even though it's still small in terms of relative probability and possible impact to the company. So there has to be a strong risk mindset in the entire organization, and there has to be a periodic discussion and monitoring of those risks, both the top risks and the new risks that are emerging in the company.
Anything that can be put into a business rules can be digitalized. Meaning to say there's a intellect, there's a logic. So if you want to measure risk, you put in the data. And then based on that processes, the templates, the calculations, the scenarios, it will give you a result. So, but the problem is, what if the scenario is not there? It will not be part of the digitalization. It will be magic with the use of theory and one. So it cannot be part of it. Once it's not part of the business rules, it's not part of the scenario, it's not part of the process, it's not part of the calculations, it's not part of the data flow, digitalization won't give it to you. So, and therefore, there are other groups who can handle that. So, as you were asking, what happened to the unknown factors. Of course, what Ida said, if the data is not there, digitalization cannot give it to you.
Thank you. Same with Gina, with the Ayala Group. Risk is something we always look into, especially now with the use of technology and the demand in the business. You always have to look for that risk and anticipate that risk. But we make use of technology and by enabling us with data. It all goes back to data now. So faster decision making, better decision making due to the use of technology and risk. So there will always be a risk in everything that we do, especially on the technology side as we speak. But hopefully the tools that we have today and the digital transformation would help us in terms of addressing those risks faster and better as well.
Thank you. I'll move on to women in leadership. And I want to go back to what was actually briefly or extensively mentioned by President Wilson on the World Economic Forum report on gender gap. And I want to ask Ida this question. On one hand,
there is that finding that the Philippines ranked only second to New Zealand in the East Asia and the Pacific on gender equality. But on the other hand, I think all of us will agree that women are grossly underrepresented at the top leadership positions and at the board. So there is a paradox, and Ida, I'd like to get your thoughts on what has brought this paradox about.
Okay. One is, there are actually 4 different barriers to that. Well, first and foremost, according to statistics, 50% of the women, they want to go STEM, right? And with the uprise of all these companies looking into STEM, which, by the way, if you're looking at the board level, they're looking at a person with technology background, risk background, audit, because in governance is risk audit, that's required, right? So on the top level, there's not a lot of women having that qualification. I'm going to go down to the elementary grade where you have the 50% wanting to do STEM, and eventually when it comes to the college, you would find that it's reduced down to 14%. And this is an overall world statistics. And guess what? Up to the highest level, it's down to less than 4%. We're a little bit lucky in the Philippines where we have improved dramatically up to the board level with Now CD, with Now CD, together with Attorney Dick and so on. So what we're trying to do is promote more women up there. But when I say 4 barriers, first barrier is confidence. So a woman would say, oh, I'm not ready for that. But the man that wouldn't even know the topic would say, yeah, I'm going to do it. So we need to build that confidence, and that confidence, it starts at an early age. Yung mga daddy dito, please promote your kids, especially the girls.
And don't stereotype between your sons and your daughters.
Definitely. You are important as an idol for them to be able to lift up their confidence. The other barrier is one particularly time barrier. The time barrier at the age of mid-20s up to mid-40s, we're taking care of the kids. So we got to do several hats, and that's a balancing act. The other 2 barriers I won't discuss further, but those are the 2 main barriers. And what we're hoping is, again, with the help of technology, get those women to find more time and balance family and work. Now we can do work from home, stuff like that. And as far as building confidence concerned, that's something that in a lot of organizations, Women Biz, Now CD, and FWN and what have you, so all this, and women in finance of Phoenix, we have a big job to encourage more women.
Okay. Gina, there are younger Phoenix women members who are obviously working their way up the organization. And I'd like to hear from you what the building blocks were in your own rise to the organization. And did gender have any part to play in your rise up the organization, whether your gender helped you or it's held you back?
Actually, I'm lucky because gender was never an issue in all the assignments that I have been given in Ayala Group. And but the biggest surprise was when I was assigned to MDC, which is a construction company.
Largely male.
Largely male, 70%, I think 80% male. And in our Mancom, that time I was the only female member. But I never heard people say, kasi babae yan, diba? Or hindi niya naintindihan kasi babae siya. I was lucky. I never had that experience. It's more of, hindi niya naintindihan kasi hindi naman siya taga-construction. But then, you make the effort to understand construction, to learn. And I think my advice is everything can be learned if you want to learn. There's no industry that is exclusive to a gender.
Learning is gender blind.
Yes, that's correct. So for me, for as long as you show the ability to learn and the passion to contribute to the company and to also mentor people and collaborate with people of various genders. I think now we have to be politically correct, right? I think people will welcome you, and you'll be able to manage your career and go where you want to go. And
Also, I give this advice to most people. Each journey is different. I mean, you do you. Like when you say, oh, you're buti ka pa, you have award, or you got promoted in X number of years, I don't think that's helpful. You try to create your own path, chart your own course, and define success for you as an individual, regardless of gender, regardless of industry.
I was asked to ask my last two questions within a 5-minute period. So let me ask you, Kai. I asked Gina about building blocks to her career. What were your stumbling blocks and how did you overcome them?
I guess I was lucky also, similar to Gina, not to experience that type of problem where gender is a concern. But I think one of the challenges, and Ida was mentioning about that blocker, when you have, when I was setting up Asticom in 2015, I had a daughter who was just 1 year old. So it's a toss-up between how am I going to run this company from scratch to running and to building the family as well. So I think I would have to say I was lucky to have a partner who supported me all the way and helped me develop both categories, whether it's work or it's the family.
So memo to the young.
Yes, they play a very important
the right
role
partner
as well. So it's very important. Blocker would really be those responsibilities that you have as women in order for you to build that family. But I have a fantastic team behind me. I have a very good husband as well. And I think women is all about delegation, and when you do that, you get the best out of it.
That's right. Finally, in the case of that, of course, you built your own company. What I want to find out, and I think there are a lot of people who have bright ideas, but they stayed there. And I never realized, and I want to find out from you very briefly, that entrepreneurial journey from that light bulb moment to making that business run commercially. What were the milestones and the difficulties that you encountered?
Until now, we experience it. You are a local company, you are small, you are not a publicly listed, and what are you going to do to us? We're in. Just to put our logo in your company is already a huge advertisement. And it takes a lot of perseverance. It takes a lot of obedience and faith. So I will go back to the obedience, okay? Because the art to survive any challenge is first the attitude. The attitude that you are a child of God, you are designed, and you have a purpose to do. So if you are aligned with that purpose, then nothing will get in between. Then the next is the resource. Always there will be a resource. Sometimes the resource is the CIO, a Harvard graduate. So you do not need to go to the Harvard because she will transfer to you the knowledge. I dealt with a lot of CFOs. I dealt with a lot of CIOs, and they are all top-notch educated. And they lay down to you what has to be done. What you need to do, obey. Okay, when they say, undergo BAPT, Vulnerable Accessibility Penetration Testing, jump right away. If you do not know how to do it, get a resource. But the first resource should be God. Consult God. Do you want me to do this? Or do you want me not to do this? Then, of course, the T is for the theology. The theology you want to believe. And that you want to believe that you are a child of God for a specific purpose.
And you stay the course. Yes, one final, tawag mo lang to the Secretariat. Just one final question, and I'll ask this to the four of you. What is your driving passion? Ida, Gina, Dada, and
What's my driving passion? Life beyond this life. It's the afterlife. Yep, it's actually doing the right thing and helping out, because at the end of the day, it's between us and God, right? But may I just mention, kasi may triple R siya. I have a triple B and I've been, akala ko tatanungin mo sa, I might as well say it. For the women and older women, I go for triple D, and the first D is to dedicate yourself in terms of learning. I did not know AI and neither metaverse and blockchain, so, because that's the next big thing. The other one is do things with passion, as also mentioned by the other women. And then lastly, do the right thing. And having that, I think, will build the trust, and you'd be able to push yourself. And yeah, so it's more of not necessarily myself, as not centralized to myself as, you know, what's good about me or for me, but it's all about what's good for the others. Na-influence niya ako.
Oo nga eh. Actually, it's also biblical, you know, the parable of the talents. For me, the driver is optimizing what gifts you were given, so that, you know, the end, when you go up there and say, were you able to optimize what I gave you? And you can honestly say yes.
Earth to eternity. Earth to eternity. Earth going to eternity. And now, what's truly driving me is I need to transform my heart to a genuine generosity. The generosity of compliment, the generosity of compassion, the generosity of credibility, the generosity of crops, which is our treasures. So I want to transform my heart to a genuine generosity, because once I am able to do that, I can stand and say, if I can do this, someone can do this also. And perhaps that can heal the inequality.
For me, it's just one word. It's all about purpose. What is my purpose? So whether it's purpose for my family, for the company, for the country, for the economy, it all goes back to that. It anchors in every single thing, in vision, your purpose, and your objective for the organization.
Thank you very much, ladies. Can you please give them a round of applause? And I'll give you back to the year.
Thank you. Please remain on stage, and I'd like to call on our President, Mr. Wilson Tan, our Liaison Director, Terry Magleo, Vice Chairperson, Nikki Tam, for a photo with our panelists. Thank you, Malu, and congratulations for navigating. Malu, please come back on stage. Thank you for navigating that wonderful panel. Ladies, you've enlightened us, inspired us with your sincere humility and inspired work. We hope to be more like you in every way, and we hope for more women leaders in FinTech. We'd like to present some simple tokens. We thank you for being with us today. And the day won't be complete without a photo op. Nikki, Malu, can you join the group? Let's take a photo. Yeah. We had 92 participants today, and we thank you all for joining us today. We'd like to call on our Vice Chair, Nikki Tam, to give her closing remarks. Thank you again to all our speakers, and thank you to all of you for joining us. Here's Nikki Tam.
Thank you, Chairman Daniel. Good afternoon, everyone. To our co-Phoenix members, guests, and media partners, we thank you for joining us today, and thank you to the Programs and Meetings Committee and Women in Finance Committee for holding this event. I would like to express my gratitude to the lovely ladies, our panelists Gina, Dada, and Kai, and to our wonderful speaker, Ida. Thank you for sharing your journey and setting an example to all the women. As a woman, I feel very empowered. This event showcased different challenges women encounter to be on top of their game and show to that their journey may not be a smooth sail, but doesn't mean we won't make it. It is indeed her story that we will continue to be a part of. Once again, on behalf of Phoenix, Programs and Meetings Committee and Women in Finance Committee, we thank you all and we hope to see you again on our future events. Have a great afternoon. Stay safe, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.